So, good morning, everybody in the HR network. This morning, I'm joined by Laura and Leanne from 9 Month Club. The 9 Month Club provide wonderful services to the industry, creating a more supportive workplace for new and expecting parents. So, Leanne and Laura are going to be good enough to run through an introduction to what they do. And some examples of how their wonderful service can benefit individuals in the business as well as supporting the business commercially. So good morning to you both.
Morning, thank you for having us.
Pleasure. So if I hand over to you, ladies, if you'd like to run through what it is you do, why you do it, and then we shall catch up afterwards with some questions.
Okay, great, thank you.
Okay, so as Rob said, we are the 9 Month Club, and a little bit of context, we set up this company because we both had different experiences of going on maternity leave, both working mums, and when we returned back to the workplace, we felt very unsupported, if we're honest, and the transition back into the workplace after having a year off wasn't really supported for us to feel confident back into our roles. And we realised that this isn't just our problem, it's quite a universal generic problem that people have. While some companies do it amazingly and help their employees or give them benefits, we still feel there's a massive gap where the gap between employer and employee is very distant and detached, and we want to try and make that gap bring that gap together and make people feel that they can do both, be good at their job and also be really good, fantastic parents, and not have to juggle both in a way that challenges you all the time, basically.
So what we do is that we help to improve the experience for new and returning parents by supporting them throughout the potentially the whole year that they may be off work. So we help them from the time that they say that they are expecting and support them all the way through that journey until they make the transition back into the workplace. And so that's, in the end, not only helps with their well-being, but it also increases productivity in the workplace when they come back. We also ensure then that good employees end up staying in the company, because what we have found through our research is that a lot of people end up coming back to work for a short period of time and then leaving because they don't feel supported in the workplace, or they don't feel really that they can do, as Leanne said, they don't feel they can do both well enough. And so they end up leaving, and then the workplace loses essentially great employees.
I think we also feel that with wellbeing at the forefront of many organisations, this fits in with that, because confidence and self-confidence and trying to boost that, it really affects our mental health, especially when you feel like you have been away for something with so many changes at work, or that you're not the person you were before you left. I think we found that by speaking to a lot of our clients. So as I said earlier, our solution is to narrow that gap between employer and employee, and we feel that if companies support parents throughout, it does prepare them for returning to that workplace. So we've got clients that we work with where very early on we work by helping their baby into a sleep routine, for example, and that takes a few months to get into a pattern. And then, once 6 months is up and they know they're about to return to work, they are very thankful that they've are able to have a night's sleep and are able to do the things that they want to do without their baby waking up every hour, for example. So that's just one of the things that we offer, which definitely helps support the people that we work with.
I think that's also a really big thing, because it means that they feel ready to go back to work, and that then means that they can then be productive, because we all know that with the lack of sleep, you can't be productive in the workplace.
We've all been there.
It doesn't work.
I think as well, we know that if you're a company, you obviously want to do what you can to help your employees, certainly with mental well-being and helping them, supporting them. But as a company as well, offering these benefits, we have found that clients feel that sense of loyalty towards their employees, because they don't feel they've just been left alone for a year, as much as they've been left alone in terms of workload. They feel that even when they're not at work's still thinking about them, and that goes a long way. But when we've spoken to a lot of HR partners, they've said, you know, we do some things, but really a lot of the ones we've spoken to say we do what is required of us legally. So, you know, we get their book and we fill it out and we pay them when we need to pay them, and we stop paying them when we need to stop paying them. And that's one of the things that we really want to focus on. We want to go beyond the current legal requirements and create that cultural shift in the workplace that then becomes not just another person's moving on to maternity, we need to get cover, and it almost be an annoying thing to become part of life. That, oh, okay, right, well, they're going on maternity leave, so we do this for them then, and then we get a replacement. And it's not this whole just doing what we can just to tick a box, basically.
So what do we do? So our solution to help to solve all of these problems is that we provide a parental wellbeing support package, so that companies can essentially give that to each expecting parent, and then they will have access to all of the following. We provide antenatal classes online for those people that can't get to their antenatal classes or choose not to for work purposes or what have you. We then provide good routine and baby sleep consultations to ensure that babies sleep well, which then means that when you come back to work, you can be productive, having good night's sleep. We then provide a weaning webinar as well, because we know that that can be a difficult thing for some parents. And we then provide all important back to work transition consultations, where we really focus on confidence boosting, because we know how many people feel that they find it so difficult to go back to work after having that year off. And so that's something that's really, really important for people going back into work.
In addition to that, as Laura was saying, that we want to work with HR teams who want to make that change, we said culturally, but also some of the kit days, we feel that sometimes they aren't used necessarily effectively. They're often used as a way of just paying someone if they want a few extra days pay or what have you. Or sometimes we've heard that people just bringing their babies in as part of a kit day, and that's not really what we feel kit days now should be used for. From our experience, that maybe it to be there to provide some kind of staggered return to work and be quite personal and bespoke to that individual who might be feeling like, oh, in their team there's been a lot of changes, can I meet everyone that day? Things like that can kind of prevent some of those confidence issues. And we know it's not always going to solve everything. We know in the last 2 years, flexible working has massively helped employers' understanding of the fact that lots of people have other things going on that they have to take care of. But we don't think that is a solution, just the flexible working. It's a start in assisting it, but it doesn't fix the whole issue. So
we really work with our clients to see what their problems are or what their worries are, and then we work with their HR team to try and create bespoke kit days for them, so that when they go back to work, it's actually a meaningful experience.
We're just working with someone now, aren't we, who is going back to work in about 2-3 months, I think, and some of that feedback that we have from her is that obviously we've helped with her baby, she's got into a routine, she's sleeping, she feels that she can enjoy her maternity leave, isn't feeling that looming kind of thing of, oh my God, I'm going back to work, I still haven't got my baby sleeping, what am I going to do? And she said to us, one of the things that stayed in our mind is that she's actually really enjoyed her maternity leave, and she doesn't feel anxious necessarily about going back to work on the hand of leaving her baby, because she knows that she feels that she's done everything she possibly can to make a change in ensuring that she's sleeping, she's happy, she's fed well. And I think often a lot of people, when they return back and all those things are kind of not ticked off, then you have this guilt about going back to work, and the guilt then feeds into your mental health, the mental health then feeds into your confidence, and it becomes like a domino effect, doesn't it? So obviously, why work with us? We've mentioned that employee turnover will have a negative impact on an organisation's performance. So we know we try to get the staff and the employees to be maintained through the support that they'll be getting.
We also know that an average employee costs a UK business between £11,000 and £30,000 to replace. So from a financial point of view, it is worthwhile that the company really invests and tries to support their employees, but especially when they're going off on parental leave. Our strategies also help, as we mentioned, with their well-being. And ultimately, it also helps to increase productivity for returning parents when they return to work.
We've worked with many different people. We've done independent clients. We've worked with companies who have used our service to help their employees. And again, there's some testimonials that I'll put up here, just with different examples of people that we've worked with, confidence boosting, getting people ready to return, and all the things we've been discussing. And there's just an example I'm sure you can view later at your own leisure. But it's just some of the things that we do, and we just hope to kind of keep making that change, keep creating that support to fulfill a gap that we know in this current market is, it's so important. Over to you, Rob.
Thank you both. That's really useful, very insightful. And as you mentioned, that slide deck is something that we can share with the network, and we'll make that available to everybody at the same time, as well as, of course, contact details for people to pick up a conversation with you guys directly. A couple of things are quite interesting there. I think what. Throw a few questions at you at this point, if we may. So we talk about the link to the commercial benefits. I think obviously anybody that's experienced having a young family understands the benefits of this and would be jumping up and down for joy. And no doubt from people functions as well, this is exactly the sort of wonderful well-being and human support that this function strives for so much now. But have you heard about any challenges in your experience commercially, where business obviously is looking more at the black and white financial returns for anything they invest in?
I think.
I was going to say, we have definitely spoken to a few companies who definitely feel that they have lost really great employees, when they come back, and a lot of that is as a result of them not really understanding or being there or supporting them at all, and they've actually gone and left to a company who does support them. So I definitely think there is a big correlation between people who stay and essentially leave after returning to work.
And I think commercially as well for us, we're not a huge cost to an organisation, but we're a massive benefit. So what they put into us in terms of payment, if you like, doesn't impact on their revenue, but it actually will impact on maintaining their staff. So eventually, you see a return quite quickly.
Excellent. I think also something else that we've been talking about before this is that this is obviously a great service and a great thing for people when they are about to go on maternity leave, but also be interested to find out when some of your current clients have introduced this to their employees. When do people know about it? When should employees know about it?
So well, the companies we're working with presently have created a launch. So what will happen is they show our services to all their kind of line managers or HR partners in the different areas, and they offer our services. So anyone that tells their employee that they're pregnant, our service is offered straight away. And it will start going down the benefits for when a new person kind of gets recruited, and I'm sure on like their internal systems, they'll be talking and adding us to their benefits for current employees as well. So they want employees to know about us very early on, as soon as if they come into a company, and then a lot of them, we've had breakfast meetings, and in terms of where we've had a selection of the employees line manager, where we've kind of not pitched because we're already in the company, but telling us what we do, presenting what we do. We've got a talk coming up with International Women's Day that we're becoming part of for another company that we're working with. So they want to use us, the ones that we're working with, and show that we are here to help from any point, whether you're thinking about having children, whether you're on your second child, the help and support is always there.
And also, I think we've also helped people that they're already off on parental leave and they're coming back in a few months, but now the companies are asking us to also help them. So really, anytime, we are there to help. We are there to support and make things easier. But the best time really is to be able to do it at the start, so that they get so they get the essentially the full package, and then our help is there and our support's there from the beginning.
I think just one of the things, not trying to sell us as people, but because we've both got young children, our youngest between us is 4, we are experiencing every part of the journey. There's something else that crops up in parenthood that we then don't get relevant training for. And we realise that, it won't always stop with the clients that we're working with when their child gets to, say, 1 or 2 or 3, because you've got an 8-year-old, I've got a 7-year-old, 6-year-old, and we're still dealing with stuff that we're now going, okay, that's also really supportive to help. So I think it will eventually, once we're looking into the future of this business, is not only supporting working parents when they're on maternity leave, but supporting working parents throughout their journey with lots of different milestones and lots of challenges that come up that we'll be able to assist with.
And I think with what you said about this being a non-prescriptive service, if I go back to when my wife was on maternity leave, all she actually got was a document that told her that was ultimately based around how long she was allowed to stay off for and what the financial implications were for staying off for said period of time. Where, as we know now, everybody looking for their next career move, they're much more astute on who the business are as people as well, and we talk about financial benefits and gains and rewards and all the nice stick-ons, but this is another lovely service that can offer a bespoke, because everybody is so different in their situation, support that makes such a difference. I think the other thing that I was quite interested to just ask as a final thing here is if you've had any comments back yet from the early stages where companies have had any success of hiring people into their organisation based on them seeing your product.
I think in our kind of journey as a company, we haven't necessarily had that feedback as yet, because companies are very in the early stages of launching our service. I think it would be good to kind of come back to that question in probably like a year's time, and we've probably got a bit more information on that. But certainly when we've spoken to employers who we're working with, and they kind of tell their peers who aren't working at that company about what they're getting at their company, there's a lot of kind of, oh God, my company doesn't do that, so I think once companies start to kind of engage and use services like us, I think it will become much more of a normal expected benefit. We expect healthcare, for example. Some companies expect a car allowance or gym membership, and I think that's become so much, what do you get? And it will, once the culture shift changes, we're hoping that then becomes embedded into the kind of cultural shift as well.
Yeah, I think it will essentially hopefully become like a domino effect, exactly where you will get people start thinking, well, actually that is a good benefit, and you're weighing up between different companies, it's a no-brainer to go with the company with the better benefits.
I think also just to make sure it's clear that we also do very much support men as well, because even though that I know obviously it's changing and people are sharing maternity, paternity leave, but I mean, it's still predominantly females who take the longer leave in the majority. So, but we do feel that, men don't always get the fair support either. They sometimes have to come back emotionally drained after having a baby after 2 weeks, and then they come back, they're not getting sleep for a good 6 months either, but no one kind of really necessarily understands it from their point of view. And we want to be able to say to a company, just because you aren't the person on the long leave doesn't mean we can't be supporting. You're still part of this company, you still deserve the benefits, your child, equal rights, fair. So very much we want to be able to support males, as well as females in the workplace.
Excellent. So as we say, we're going to share this with the network, but how would you approach this if I was coming to you as Hubble and wanted to have a conversation with you about this? What's your normal approach to speaking with your clients?
Normally we'll get, normally people email us through either email or social forums, and then we have a chat, and then we kind of look at kind of what type of company you are, what kind of company we are, if it kind of will benefit each other, and then we often will do a pilot where perhaps you get to see us do it with a few of your employees to see, like a try before you buy, but just so you know the type of things that will work and it works within your environment. And then once that kind of pilot is finished, then we'll roll it out hopefully to the rest of the company.
Perfect. Another opportunity to create that bespoke product for each individual business.
Absolutely.
Perfect. Great. Well, that's been really helpful. Thank you, Leanne and Laura, both of you.
Thank you.
The 9-month club is a fantastic product that we've already seen some of the testimonials, and I know I've spoken previously to people that have experienced you guys and what you do and as individuals. So really lovely to hear those positive comments. Network will obviously send out the details for everybody to view, have a look at the slide deck, and as we're saying here, I know you ladies be delighted to take any questions or introductions from people by reaching out to you.
Absolutely, yes. Don't hesitate to get in touch if you need. Thank you so much.
Thank you both. Really
Thanks for having us.
the time.
Take care.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.